Welcome in, belly up, have a seat, and grab a drink as we talk some Wingman Fantasy Football. Welcome into another edition of Wingman Fantasy Football, the League Podcast. I am your host, Michael Furley, and as always, I'd like to thank all of you, or any of you who may be watching or listening to today's show. This is episode 84, a 2023 season rewind. We are going to go over the championship week of week 17 of the 2023 season, and we're also going to have our very first annual Golden Wingman Awards. It's going to be very exciting. I know we're a little late, but as one famous philosopher said at one point in time, before you go forward, you must look back. And we are going to do that today so we can get ourselves propelled forward for the 2024 season by closing the door on the 2023 season. So like I said before, this is our first episode of season 3 of Wingman Fantasy Football, the League Podcast. And things are going to be changing this time around. Starting out with our beautiful set here, we are now in a virtual space. We have the real bar mixed in with some backgrounds so we can teleport our guests in and they can actually sit at the bar next to us. It'll be very nice, a little more inviting than just having boxes everywhere with wallpaper. So hopefully that'll be a nice change of pace. Also, we're gonna be spreading out our wings, and in terms of what type of content we will be offering this time around. In past seasons, as a startup, we were just doing a newsletter homage to the Wingman Fantasy Football League, and we are gonna branch out a bit. The Wingman Fantasy Football League is still going to be the major focus of the content, but we are now going to offer some start-sit advice, waiver wire projections, rankings, start sits, all that kind of stuff. Do some pick'ems in terms of fantasy points over unders and give you a sounding board. We're here to help you guys out because we are you guys. We want to be the sounding board that'll help you make the best decisions or talk you off the ledge. So we're going to do that for you guys, and we appreciate you guys joining us and starting the Wingman family. All right, guys, we're also going to offer a new product this year. If you want, you can pre-register to get the WDK. What is the WDK? The WDK is the Wingman Draft Kit. It is a PDF file that'll be sent right into your inbox that'll give you tier-based rankings, projections, strength of schedules based on position, bye weeks, all that stuff, and mixed in with some which coaches are going where, player movement, so you can kind of get a better read on which players may perform well. Every year, it surprised me when I look at these things. You're like, oh, I guess that's the running back that's going to be good this year. And I'm not bragging, but 8 out of 10 times I've nailed him. And the couple times I haven't, it's because I've been afraid to pull the trigger. One time I recall specifically was Mark Ingram's, I don't know if it was his first year or second year, but he was in Baltimore. And I was like, it says he's supposed to be good based on the schedules and this coaching style. But I was like, he's old. I can't do it. And that was his last best year. So these strength of schedules mixed in with coaching and projections, they really do sometimes give you steals in the draft. So go ahead and just pre-register for that WDK at wingmanfantasyfootball.com. All right, so we have a little celebrity endorsement who's going to tell you a little bit more about the WDK. So with that being said, I pass it over to him.
Listen to me, it's your last action hero, your true life spy, and of course, your favorite kindergarten teacher. I want to let you know that it is not a rumor. The Wingman Draft Kit is the best tool out there to prepare you for your fantasy football draft. Let Bernie and Michael pump you up and get you into the best shape of your life in terms of draft day preparation. With Wingman consensus player rankings, ADP, tier rankings, including cross-reference material to other major fantasy sites, with positional strength of schedules, mock draft results, and so much more. The WDK will help you dominate your league and dominate the competition. I need you to get down to wingmanfantasyfootball.com right away to order your copy of the WDK, the Wingman Draft Kit. I've got to go, but don't worry, I'll be back. But right now I must head to the chopper. Hasta la vista, baby.
what a herring escape for our endorser, Arnie, there. And I don't know if you were listening or not, but Arnold said WDK from our friends Bernie and Michael. And we have Bernie in the bar with us today. How you doing, Bernie?
I'm doing well, Mikey. How are you?
I'm doing well. A pleasure to have you here. For all of you guys out there, like I said, we're doing major changes this time. And the goal is to have Bernie join us at the bar every episode if possible. But that's the goal right now.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. Place looks wonderful.
Nice. Thank you. Appreciate it. So like Arnie was saying there, we have the WDK that we are going to start providing out there from our website. And basically what it's going to be is every year I personally go through my rankings based on strength of schedules, bye weeks, cross-reference from other sites, and come up with the best rankings that I can do. And Bernie's going to help me this time around. We're going to consensus our rankings to have a little bit of variance, but you'll also know which one of us picks who where. So that'll help all of our competitors in our Wingman Fantasy Football League know exactly who we're picking. So this is a bad idea. What do you think about that?
I think it's a bad idea, but you never know. You know, somebody might use this and they might win a league that's not our league, and which would make me feel great.
So like we want to try and branch out and kind of be more pundits. I don't know if that's the right word. And if you can't put yourself out there and that might hurt yourself in a personal gain, then what are you trying to do, right? So we're going to do a short-term loss of personal gain for a long-term, hopefully growth in gain. So that's the plan right now. And I thank Bernie for joining me along this journey here.
No, you're very welcome, Mikey. And I'm right with you as far as going in depth into these rankings, strength of schedule, last year, new teams, new offensive coordinators, you know, everything, roster positioning, really deep dive into it.
Nice. So yeah, you mentioned coordinators and stuff. I always try and look at, like I said, I do these rankings all the time, and then there's always like outliers. Like I thought, like for example, going into last year, we thought the Houston defense was going to be a cakewalk for rushing, and by the end of the year, they were actually pretty stout. And I'm trying to think, well, was an outlier the year before. Obviously, their offense got better, which makes a difference when you're playing against as a rushing defense, because if the other team has to score, they can't just run the ball all the time. But I was also looking like they had new coaches, new defensive. Their head coach was a defensive-minded coach, so that was an outlier or a change. I mean, so I looked up all the new coordinators and saw if teams might have been plus or minus in terms of what type of game they're going to play, because a lot of these defenses are just situational. Like Carolina last year was the best defense against passing. That's only because they were so bad as a total defense. Every team could just run all over them. They didn't need to pass at all. So it's kind of stuff like that.
Exactly. And, you know, just a little teaser, but is Big D going to be a stellar defense? You know, they lost Dan Quinn. So if you're thinking that Dallas is just going to run people over again, I would think again on that.
That was one of my teams that had the extra bonus points for a combination of players lost or coaches gained in Washington. I don't think they're going to be good necessarily, but their coaching staff mixed in with new players they got and offenses, they're a team that could beat the perception of the projections is all I'm saying. I'm not saying they're going to be good, but they're not going to be as bad as they were last year based on those variables. Dan Quinn's been around forever. His teams are always middle to great, nothing worse.
Right. Exactly. But as the defensive coordinator, his defenses were always stout.
Right.
And for them not to have him again, it's just one of those things.
Exactly. Very good call. So I'm trying to think what else. So, all right. So there's a lot of other things we want to talk about here. We have a lot of new segments. We got plenty of time to get into that. This is just a welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. This is the first time we're doing a preseason show. Usually we start on kickoff day, but we want to get us going and get into the zeitgeist here so you can follow us all season long. But before we go forward, like I said, we want to go back, and I promised this at the end of last year, and I just didn't get around to it. So we are going to start off with our Golden Wingman Awards for the 2023 season. So sit back and watch the award show. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for the first annual Golden Wingman Awards. Who will earn their pair of golden wings? Categories tonight include Most Outstanding Player, Postseason MVP, Free Agent Acquisition of the Year. Draft Day Value of the Year. Draft Day Bust of the Year. And the Up and Down, Exhilarating, the Roller Coaster Award. All right, our first award on the docket tonight is for Most Outstanding Player. And our nominees for this award are Tyreek Hill, who averaged 19.93 points per game. Next is the quarterback for the Philadelphia Eagles, Jalen Hulu has live sports, who averaged a whopping 23.34 points during the 2023 season. Next, Buffalo Bills gunslinger, quarterback Josh Allen, who led all scorers with 436 total points during the 2023 season. Next, Christian McCaffrey, running back for the 49ers. And standout wide receiver superstar, CeeDee Lamb, who himself averaged just under 20 points at 19.98 points per game. And the winner for the 2023 Most Outstanding Player, the Golden Wings go to Christian McCaffrey. He was the highest scoring non-QB of all players this season. He averaged 22.61 points per game. He also had a streak of 18 consecutive games with a touchdown scored, tying an NFL record, and it spanned over the last 2 seasons. Congratulations, Christian McCaffrey. You have earned your Golden Wings for Most Outstanding Player. Next, our next category will be Postseason MVP. These players helped their managers win titles, advance in the playoffs, and have just an all-around stellar back third of the season. Starting off with Rams running back Kyren Williams.
Release the Kraken.
Next, we have Breece Hall, a.k.a. Barisa Lightning, Jets running back. Next, we have Lamar Jackson, quarterback and league MVP for the Baltimore Ravens. Next, we have Jordan Love. All you need is love, as he helped propel Red Sox Nation to his 3rd consecutive Wingman Fantasy Football title. And CeeDee Lamb nominated for his 2nd category, as he had over 35 points in the championship game. And the winner is, for postseason MVP, the Golden Wings go to CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb, like I mentioned before, had 35 points in the championship game, averaged over 23 points per game during the playoffs, and he had a spectacular run, helping knock out the number 1 seed in the semifinals, and helping propel Corey's Mac Daddy 2s to just a narrow defeat. But without CeeDee Lamb, he would not have been there at all. All right, now it is time to get on to our next category for the award show. This is going to be Free Agent Pickup of the Year. And our nominees for Free Agent Pickup of the Year are, once again, his 2nd time being nominated, Kyren Williams.
Release the Kraken.
We have Sam Laporta, tight end for the Lions. Brock Purdy, quarterback for the 49ers. And once again, his 2nd time in the nomination pool here. All you need is Jordan Love. And rookie standout wide receiver for the LA Rams, Puka Nacua.
Hakuna Matata.
And the winner for Free Agent Pickup of the Year, this one goes to Kyren Williams.
Release the Kraken.
Kyren Williams averaged 21 points per game. Where is he? Kyren Williams averaged over 20 points a game. He did miss time with injury, but every time he suited up, he was a monster, and including helping the aforementioned Red Sox Nation win his 3rd consecutive Wingman Fantasy Football title. Congratulations to Kyren Williams. You have earned your pair of Golden Wings. It is now time to get on to our next category. Our next category will be Draft Day Value of the Year. There were so many quality draft picks this year, and we are going to take a look at our nominees for Best Draft Day Value. Starting off with running back for the Miami Dolphins, Raheem Mostert. Once again, Breece Hall has been nominated again, and he was a very strong standout. Yahoo rated him as the #1 draft pick post-draft and preseason. Nico Collins was the second to last player picked in our draft, the last non-QB player, and he finished in the top 10 in positional rankings. And Mike Evans, everyone counted him out as an older statesman, but he was solid all the way through the season. And Dak Prescott used the second half of the season to propel himself as he went from, as he finished as the 5th overall quarterback. All right, and the winner for Draft Day Value of the Year, the Golden Wings go to Raheem Mostert. Raheem Mostert was the best value of this year among values, as he was the 33rd running back taken and finished #2 overall at the position. As Raheem Mostert, like I said, was drafted in the 8th round, finished as the 2nd overall running back. Even though Nico Collins was taken so late, it's hard to beat a top 2 running back. Well done, Raheem Mostert. You are the winner of the Draft Day Value of the Year, and you've earned your first pair of Golden Wings. To our next award, the Draft Day Bust of the Year. This is always a tough category. And our nominees for the Draft Day Bust of the Year are as follows. We have Patrick Mahomes, superstar quarterback for the Kansas City Chiefs, makes this list. Garrett Wilson also makes this list as the Bust of the Year. Miles Sanders, we forgot, he played last year, but he was drafted in the middle rounds and finished outside the top 100. And Austin Eckler dealt with injury and age as he had a rough go of a season. And Cooper Kupp never got going as he missed the first 4 or 5 games of the season and seemed to take a backseat to Puka Nacua. And the winner or loser of Draft Day Bust of the Year goes to Garrett Wilson. Garrett Wilson, congratulations. You've gotten the Golden Wings for Draft Day Bust of the Year. Garrett Wilson was drafted as the 12th pick overall, just outside the first round, and he finished as the 44th receiver. He finished as the 44th receiver in points per game. So that was an awful bust. He was linked to the big-time injury of Aaron Rodgers. But nonetheless, you have earned your first pair of Golden Wings as you are the 2023 Draft Day Bust of the Year. On to our next category, and arguably our most exhilarating. This one is the Roller Coaster Award. These are our players who had high highs and low lows and nothing in between. We've got 5 players nominated for this award here. We have Saquon Barkley, who had 5 games of almost 18 points, but also had 5 games of under 8 points. Our next player nominated here is Devontae Smith, who had 4 games of over 19 points and 6 games of under 7.5 points. Next on the list was Derrick Henry. He had 7 games over 17 points and 6 games under 8 points. T. Higgins. T. Higgins had 3 games of over 20 points and 6 games of over 5 points. He has the biggest range here as he had the highest highs and the lowest lows. And Calvin Risky had 5 games of over 17 points and 8 games of under 7.3 points. This one is tough. This is a healthy crop. But the winner of the 2023 Roller Coaster Award goes to Derrick Henry. King Henry, Like I said before, had 7 games of over 17 points and 6 games of under 7.7 points. This was a little tricky because he had the most games that were highs or lows, but he was also the easiest one to tell when they might be coming, as most of his games, his good games came in wins against bad opponents, and his bad games came in games that were losses against high-scoring opponents. Nonetheless, though, he had the widest range of outcomes overall. Like I said, 7 games over 17 points and 6 games under 7.7. Congratulations, Derrick Henry. You have earned your first pair of golden wings. Thank you for joining us for the first annual Golden Wingman Awards. Now back to the show. In the back. Sorry about that. That was going to loop for you guys. You're going to see the Golden Wingman Award for the second straight time. No, but we cut it off. Mr. Bernie, after seeing the first annual Golden Wingman Awards, any Golden Wing earners did you think did not deserve any snubs? What do you think?
Not really any snubs per se. I think my boy Calvin Ridley should have been up there for the roller coaster award, just because he made me throw my iPad a couple times. So outside of that, though, it's pretty spot on.
So the thing I was thinking about with Ridley, for potentially, we gave him a nod, which I just didn't quite get it because of the number of games. But there were games where he would have 0 points at halftime and then finish with 18 points, and vice versa.
Yeah.
So he not only had roller coaster week to week, he was having roller coaster games.
Exactly. It's a roller coaster within a roller coaster.
Yeah. So the good thing, I don't know if you want to look at that as a negative award or a positive award. The good thing about Derrick Henry, it's more of a positive award. You knew when the highs were coming, so it was more like a wee.
Exactly. So, but
as opposed to get me off this thing.
Yeah. Outside of that, I think it was great. It was a great show. I think the awards went to the appropriate people, and I can't wait till next year.
Nice. All right. So like I said before, we never really did an official Week 17 rewind. So we're going to get back and we're going to take a look at the Week 17 rewind. I got my buttons mixed up. There we go.
Let's go back. Week 17 rewind.
All right, so team, we're going to start off with a little boy bracket. This was the consolation bracket. The people playing for 7th place. Of course, my screen just refreshed right when I went to look at it. Awesome. And so this game had someone that you know very well, Team B, Bernie, the bounty hunter. It was you. You were in the game against Reggie's Lion Eyes, and you had a rough regular season, but you went into the consolation bracket on a 2-game winning streak, playing for 7th place. And do you remember how that game went out? I know it was a while ago.
I believe I won.
You did win. The score was 83 to 76ish. Like I just lost the page just went away from me. So about 83 to 76. So it was a low scoring game, and you went up against all Lions.
Yep. If I was going to go up against anybody in that little boy bracket, I'm glad it was Reggie. He and I are good friends, and we have a lot of banter back and forth. So I respect him. I respect his players and his teams that he puts together. So it's nice.
And also, let's see. So you had some this thing is not. I don't know why it's not playing for me. So I kind of remember you had some players. I think you had Baker Mayfield had 20 some odd points. So he had a decent game. That's pretty much all you could hope for him. But Kenneth Walker had 15 points, and he was a kind of a no-show all season long, at least injury-wise. So that was kind of nice to get that kind of game from him at the end of the season.
Yeah, very, very nice. A lot of those players that were in there at the end were basically replacements because the team during the year sucked so bad.
So I got a question for you because I was looking at it earlier, especially because we just talked about him in the roller coaster award. Do you think Calvin Ridley was on your active roster, or was he on the bench or cut?
If I had to, I had faith in him for a while. I wouldn't have cut him. 17, I can't remember who they were playing, if they were in it or not. I would say he was on the active roster.
He got 5.9 points, so not his biggest dud of the year, but he was in your lineup. He did play.
Yeah, yeah. When you're swinging for the fences, you gotta swing big, I guess.
Yep. All right, so now we're gonna get to our big boy bracket, and this one, well, this hurt because I thought I could have been in this game. Of course, I had a week to recover from that realization, but this was an amazing game as we had Red Sox Nation going for his third consecutive title up against Corey's Mac Daddy Twos going for his first Wingman Fantasy Football League title. And do you remember how this one played out, or at least who won?
Oh, I believe it was a very, very close nail biter, and it was Jimerson because we don't hear the end of it. Red Sox Nation just loves to let us all know that he won again.
It was Red Sox Nation. I don't know if you noticed that he's changed his team name to R3D Sox Nation. He changed the E to a 3 for his three-peat.
I have not noticed that.
So very subtle, but very, there you go. So this game was super close. Red Sox Nation won by 0.62 points, and it went down to the wire as both these players had one player on their team active for the Sunday night game, the last game of the year, as it was New Year's Eve night. So I was having a blast. I was drinking by the fire pit watching the game and just texting everybody. It was kind of fun.
Yeah. No, that to end it like that with the last game of the season and that close of a game for the championship, that was it was a good win. It was a fun little end there.
Red Sox Nation went into that night's game down 20 points, and he had Jordan Love. Jordan Love against Tyson. Is it not Tyson Chandler? Ty Chandler, whatever his first name is, Ty Chandler. And all he needed to do is get a couple points from Chandler and not have Love go off. But of course, Jordan Love, as he did in the postseason, had 4 touchdowns, 3 throwing, 1 rushing to seal the game. And it was just, and Ty Chandler only needed 1 more catch at the end, and he couldn't do it as he was getting subbed out for Alexander Madison. So it was nip and tuck all the way to the final whistle.
Oh yeah. Oh no. It's you gotta. All you need is love. Is that how that song goes? All you need is love.
Yep.
Yeah. So good for MJ. Good for Red Sox Nation. Let's just keep it at 3 and end it this year.
I agree. Maybe he should be the expert for us. We'll ask him what his rankings are, but he's on a roll lately. He's on a roll.
He is on a roll.
All right. So thank you very much for having us go through the rewind here. We're going to keep up with stuff. We're going to add so many new segments. We've got the Wingman Jam, the 2-point conversation, mixed in, of course, with our power rankings, Mike rants, 4th and long with Bernie. All these things are going to be sprinkled out throughout the year. So come on back. We're going to try and get a couple of these out a week for the next 2 to 3 weeks. My goal is, I didn't talk to Bernie about this, maybe get 3 a week. Whether he can do all 3, we'll find that out later. But a Sunday night recording, a Tuesday night, and a Thursday night, so we can get them out 3 days a week. Talk about the Sunday will be a very chill, just talk about the games at hand, not really diving in deep about in terms of our fantasy football league, but talk about potential waiver pickups. People might have gotten hurt, if we're scared or not about that. And then we'll go into the rest of the week doing a recap and preview throughout the remainder of the week. So with that being said, guys, I'm so thankful you guys have found us again. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, TuneIn Radio, YouTube Music. Google Podcasts is dead. It's no longer an app. You got to use YouTube Music. You can also find us on YouTube, of course, at youtube.com/@Wingman Fantasy Football. You can also find all of our content at wingmanentertainment.net/podcast. And of course, the new website, wingmanfantasyfootball.com, will get you in the door to all those places. And there's also the link there if you want to take a look and pre-register to get our Wingman draft kit. Don't know if I mentioned it this time around, but it will be out end of business day on next Monday, the 19th. And if you are able to pick that up, you will get any revisions going out through all the way to draft day. So with that being said, guys, may your glasses be full, your mugs stay frosty, and Bernie, we will see you next time.
Next time.